Nio announced their earnings last night, and price did gap down. However, it is finding buyers at the lower end of this weekly buyer zone at $10. Before we continue with the analysis, let's look at this article. It is coming from CNBC. Nio reports wider second quarter loss amid China slowdown and product line revamped. Chinese EV maker Nio lost $831 million in the second quarter, more than twice its year-ago loss, as deliveries of its upscale EV slipped amid a transition to an updated vehicle platform and a broader economic slowdown in China. And this is really key, just the slowdown in China that we're witnessing. Nio's gross margins on vehicles for the second quarter was 6.2% in the second quarter, down from 16.7% a year ago, but up from 5.1% in the first quarter of 2023. Nio launched a revamped version of its mainstay ES6 crossover on its new NT 2.0 platform in May, and a station wagon version of its ET5 sedan in June. The refreshed lineup is already delivering better results, with 20,462 vehicles delivered in July alone. Company delivered just 23,520 vehicles in the second quarter, as it sold down the last of its outgoing models with substantial discount. So they are using a Tesla strategy, but also they're just trying to keep up with the leader in the market, as Tesla discounted their cars to keep their market share. And so all other EV makers had to do the same, right, to stay with the competition. Nio also boosted its balance sheet in July, closing at $738 million equity investment from a fund controlled by the government of Abu Dhabi on July 12th. The company had $4.3 billion in cash and equivalents on hand as of the end of June. So this is great to see that they do have cash to fund their operations moving forward, unlike many of the smaller EV startups that we see out there. Mullen comes to mind, Nikola comes to mind, Canoe comes to mind. There's just a bunch of them. We've seen a couple go bankrupt already. Proterra is one in particular. But Nio should be well funded for the time being. Nio now expects to deliver between 55 and 70 and 57,000 vehicles in the third quarter, up significantly from the 31,607 EVs it delivered in the third quarter of 2022. It expects its revenue for the period to fall between $2.61 billion and $2.69 billion, up from $1.83 billion in the year-ago period. So they're ramping up production. One of the reasons why the gross margins got hit was discounts on sales on their cars, but also, they need cash to ramp up, right, to try to reach that economy of scales where they at least break even. But they're not forecasted to break even until roughly 2026. Now, regarding the deliveries, again, they delivered 20,462 for July, right? And you can see how that compares to previous years' Julys, right? Compared to last year, that's a double. And this was a ramp up, a step up in sales. Again, potentially due to discounts. Now, relative to the remaining of this year, relative to other previous years, you can see how you have a couple of months were better than other months, depending on what year you're looking at. But if they're looking to ramp up to 55 to 57,000 vehicles, we should continue to see Nio uptick in deliveries exceed prior years. All right, so where do we go from here? I'm going to take off this Fibonacci retracement to make it a little clearer. Right now, price went below to move higher. It's sitting above the 200-day moving average, currently above the 100-day moving average. But right now what I see is it has to get through this patch of trading, as that's going to serve as not necessarily resistance, but it is going to stop price, as price traded in this range for at least a week and a half. But as China goes, Nio's going to go. We can anticipate that China is going to fund their economy, to give it a jump start. I'm going to look at options shortly, and potentially buy some leap options going out a couple of years, and then look to sell the front months, as this weekly bias level should hold. But we'll see. If I pull back out to the weekly, what I like about this level is that you had a rally in price, base and candles, and a rally out, taking out the range but pivot high. So although this candle is red right now, based on price structure, it is a good level to go long. And I'm going to be looking to go long via the option market. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Please like the video.